Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brownstone's Best Business Review. I'm Paulette. I'm a part of Brownstone Worldwide. You're in the Brownstone Worldwide studios. And today, we're talking to Francisco Dean, the Photobooth Man. We're going to get an opportunity to talk all about photos, imaging, images, making memories, how it makes you feel, branding, and more by talking to Francisco. So many of you guys know him as the Photobooth Man, and many of you all are getting an opportunity to get to know him for the very first time. So without further ado, we're going to go ahead and bring up Francisco Dean. We're going to have that candid conversation about photos. The Photobooth Man himself, Francisco Dean. How are you?
Hey, Miss Paulette. I am excellent. It's a beautiful day, and I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much
Good.
for having me as part of the Brownstone community.
Absolutely, as always. And so this is officially getting ready to be a year since the first time that you and I had an opportunity to talk. And so much has happened with the photo shop that you have. So I'm going
Yes.
to call it that, but it's officially called Pro Snap Booth.
Ooh.
So what have you been up to? What's going on with the Pro Snap Booth?
Oh, wow. I've been up to a lot, actually. My business has been growing.
Mhm.
I don't know if we spoke about my assistant the last time that
Yeah.
I was on the interview, but um, now she has become such an integral part of the team.
Mhm.
So it's not just a team of one anymore, but now it's a team of two.
Mm.
And what she has done for me is she's allowed me to work into my zone of genius and really work more on the business
Oh, I
while
love
I've been able to delegate so many tasks
it.
to
Mhm.
her that are still important tasks. We still have to follow up with leads. We still have to make sure that our clients are getting the best possible service that we can provide. And I've been able to train her on my internal processes and procedures. I've even tightened up on a lot of my SOPs, a lot of checklists, a lot of things that weren't quite clear. I've
Mhm.
clarified a lot of those things to the point where she manages a lot of the business by herself.
Excellent. Wow.
Yes.
So you're able to do a lot more in terms of being above board. Let's talk about that really
Yeah.
quick because even with Brownstone Worldwide, there were some major shifts. And I'm going to go down this rabbit hole just a tiny bit and then
Hmm.
circle back to what you just said. So last year, I had to make some very hard decisions, and it wasn't an easy one, but I had to focus on what was going to grow the business and what was holding the business back. And
Sure.
so, with that, you have to cut, you have to have those surgeries, if you
Mm.
will.
Yeah.
And it was not comfortable, but in keeping with building the business and learning that sometimes we are the bottleneck as business owners because
Hmm.
we don't let go and we think that we can do all the things. I had to cut and have surgery with myself,
Oh,
right?
wow.
That was really hard. So, how do you think bringing on another person has helped you? Because since our last conversation, we officially have four people besides myself that
That's
work on the brownstone.
that's amazing. So for me, I think it's vitally important.
Mhm.
I see a lot of entrepreneurs struggling, um, spinning their tires, still trying to figure it out,
Yeah.
and they have a lot of resistance when it comes to getting momentum in their
Mhm.
business. And I went through that. I struggled through that. I didn't get my I didn't even know about having like a virtual assistant because my assistant is completely virtual. I
Mm.
didn't even know about that until my sixth year in business.
Wow.
So the first 6 years of me being in business, I was doing everything by myself. I, I was the lead, executive assistant.
Mm.
I was the lead troubleshooter. I answered every question. I answered every phone call. I responded to every email.
Yeah.
I did every event.
Mhm.
You name it. I wore all the hats.
Mm.
And it wasn't until I learned how to delegate.
Yes.
Let me say that again. It wasn't until I learned how to delegate that I
Right.
really started to find that freedom that I was looking for, and that my business started to be able to pick up some momentum. So the first year that I hired my assistant, my business actually doubled in revenue.
Wow.
Just
Nice.
by, yeah, just by hiring her, I doubled in revenue. So I'll say it's one of the best decisions I ever made.
I love that. And thank you for that because it validates sometimes when it's payday, you know, and I have to cut those checks. And I'm sitting here and I'm like, well, it's really, really necessary because it does. It does
Uh-huh.
free you up to really focus and to develop on the ideas that you have, right? So I know that you have some new things that you're offering with ProSnap Booth, and I know we're going to get into that. But do
Sure.
you think that having your assistant in position has allowed you to really kind of move? Because one thing that I've noticed, and I've been at events with you, um, it's not just you also have other people. Now, are those people that you just hired just for the moment, or how does that work?
Yeah, so I work with a lot of freelancers and people that are just looking for like gig work,
Yeah.
part-time work.
Mhm.
My industry isn't really a full-time industry, though I'm able to sustain myself and work in the business full-time.
Okay.
I'm not able to employ anyone full-time.
I
So
see.
it's more event-based.
Mhm.
Whenever I have an event or something that's actually going on and I need assistance, I need other people to come in and help me out, then
Mhm.
I will pay them on a per event basis. And that's typically how I keep my rotation. So I have a few people that I can reach out to that I know at any given time they're looking for work and I'm looking for help, and we just make a match right there. So yeah,
I love
that's pretty
that.
much how that goes.
I love that. So I hope that our readers, listeners, viewers, and subscribers heard you when you said, I am not hiring full time. It
Mhm.
is based on a per job basis or a per gig basis. That's food for somebody at this
Mhm.
point. I think a
Mhm.
lot of people believe that if they're going to have anyone in the business, you brought up two excellent points. One, having your assistant in position so that you can focus more on the business and be more in the developmental stage of executing what's necessary. And you've seen an increase in revenue because of
Absolutely.
that decision. But then also not taking all of the increase of the revenue that you have and bringing on a full-time employee, I think is genius. And I
Mhm.
think, following, the idea of as an on an ad hoc basis, hey, I need you for this, I need you for that, and having a group of folks that you work with or not, you know, um, somebody
I,
definitely needed to hear that for sure.
I'll even add to that.
Yeah.
My assistant is not even full time.
Holy cow.
No, so
Get
she,
out of here.
yeah, I'll spill the tea and give it all to you.
Okay.
She works approximately 5 hours per week,
That
and
is
I'm
crazy.
able to, yes, I'm able to, um, in those 5 hours per week, we have specific times that we meet where she gives me updates,
Mhm,
where I can assign tasks and assignments for her,
mhm, mhm.
and then with the rest of the time she uses to manage my inbox, make phone calls, draft emails, just doing
Wow.
different administrative tasks that I need help with for that particular week. She does check-ins, ever so often.
Okay.
We have a clear communication channel where we know, this is the place where you're going to communicate with me and where I can communicate with you.
Mhm.
So I have it set up pretty well. I learned this from another mentor of mine. His name is Mike, and he has a photo booth business.
Okay.
And while I spent time with him, I saw kind of how he had things structured, and then
Mhm,
I tried my best to mimic that structure
mhm.
in my business as well. So it actually works pretty pretty well
I
when it comes to,
see.
yeah.
That is amazing. Now I'm over here taking mental notes, y'all. So if you were listening, listen, because I still don't have an assistant, right? I have,
Mhm.
the magazine. We have two folks that work on that specifically, and our brand manager, you know her well, Rakaya,
Mhm.
still works with us with the design and so forth. So that's a team of
Awesome.
three right there. And then of course, um, I would love, because I still check my own emails and stuff, and it's like, oh my God, I could use more time. And you're saying that you have this person for 5 hours a week, y'all. If you are not taking notes after what Cisco himself just dropped, those were gems.
Oh yeah.
Pick them up. He is
Oh yeah.
leaving clues in this conversation, and we haven't even gotten to the good part,
Yeah.
right?
Just to give someone an idea of what something like that would cost.
Yeah.
You can find virtual assistants in different countries and in overseas. Particularly, my assistant is in the country of Jamaica, so
Nice.
her English is very well, and she's able to communicate on my behalf. She is pretty much the face of the company now, and you can find anywhere from the range of $10 to $20 per hour. So
Yeah.
if you can find someone in that range, you're talking about, roughly 300 to maybe $500 a month that you can pay someone to just work
Yeah.
part-time in your business to help you with administrative tasks.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it's worth every penny. It's worth.
I love that. I love it. And especially if you're able to generate the revenue. First of all, generating the revenue to do what you need to do is such a game changer, I think. When we're talking about, you have to bring someone in, but if it's helping you to make more money,
Absolutely.
That's a game changer.
Yeah, because you have to know what your money-making activities are.
Yeah.
You have to know what your money-making activities are. And for me, quite frankly, it's whenever a new lead comes in, getting them to convert and getting them to pay us the deposit. That deposit is our signal that they're willing to move forward with us and they're willing to do business with us and that they want us to cover their event. And then we collect the final deposit, the final payment, closer toward the event. But that initial money generating activity is collecting that payment. So I put her on that task, right? Now I don't have to be the one following up with every lead. Now she's following up with every lead. And that was one thing that I struggled with a lot in my business was I would get leads in, but I would struggle with following up with them, or I may follow up with them, but then I would stop after a certain time. Now she's the sole person to make sure that every single lead that comes into my business gets contacted. They get contacted. We give them phone calls. We send them emails. And if they're not ready to move forward, we will continue to follow up with them until they either tell us no or their event date passes. And I'm like, so because I have that system set in place now, I'm able to focus on other things while my assistant focuses on following up with all the leads.
Bravo. And look at that. That frees you up
Absolutely.
to do what you do best, and that's to grow and build the business and continue to get out there and physically build those relationships.
Absolutely.
And so gosh, we could sit here and we could have a whole conversation just about that. But let's talk about Pro Snap Booth. Because I think for the newbies here in the Brownstone who are not familiar with who you are, what is Pro Snap Booth?
Pro Snap Booth is a labor of love. Pro Snap Booth was born out of me looking for something that I could call my own. So I was working full time as an engineer. And while I was there, I was wanting to do something on the side for myself. And I found that I had an iPad that was just sitting around and a thirst and a hunger to, get into entrepreneurship. I did a lot of research and I found the perfect business for myself. And it was starting a photo booth business. And this is back in 2016. So photo booth were kind of bubbling up, but not as popular as they are now. And I didn't know anyone else that was doing it closely. I knew one person kind of from a distance that was doing it. And I said, well, this looks like something that I could do. So I ended up starting my very own photo booth business. And 8 years later, I am now doing it full time. I'm still in the game.
Wow.
I am one of the names here in Atlanta when it comes to photo booth businesses. I've worked with a lot of notable people and companies here
Yeah.
in Atlanta. Some dream clients that I,
Mhm.
dreamed of working with, I now get to work with.
Awesome.
Just to drop a name or two, I am working with Coca-Cola. I have worked with Delta.
Nice.
I work with the King Center here in Atlanta. So, these companies trust me. I've worked with many celebrities as well. Just because I have a good reputation, I do great work.
Yeah.
And it just came off of years of trial and error, figuring it out, building up my business, getting things right, upgrading my equipment. Actually,
Mhm.
this photo booth right here that you see behind me is the first photo booth that I started with. So
Wow.
yeah, I started with this photo booth, and right here's an iPad. So right in the middle of it, like I told
Mhm.
you in the beginning, I had an iPad, and I just said, "Hey, how can I do this?" And I figured it out. And
Yeah.
here I am later with an office. I'm right now sitting in my own personal office that I house ProSnap booth, all of my equipment, um,
Okay.
and I work out of here every day. And when I'm ready to go do events, I have a van sitting outside where I load all my equipment into my van and I go do
Mm.
my events. So
Wow.
just to give a little bit about the journey, but in essence, ProSnap Booth is a photo booth rental company.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
work with moms, brides, event planners. Um, we cover a wide range of events like weddings and birthday parties,
Mhm.
conferences. We do work with corporate as well.
Mhm.
So we're like a do it all and have done it all type of photo booth
I
company.
love it. I love it. And y'all, I would be remiss to say that this is such a different conversation from when we first talked, and I am amazed and and proud of you, if that is
Thank
such a
you.
word,
Thank you.
in this conversation. So I'm proud of you. I'm excited to hear the growth and to see what you are doing with the business and see where you're headed. And so now you've been doing some other things as well. You have started a virtual photo booth, and
Yes.
I'd love to hear more about that. And let's talk really quick about something that you and I were talking about right before we went live with
Hmm.
this interview. We were talking about branding
Hmm.
and the importance of it. And as someone who is in the business of branding and imaging, which is
Absolutely.
what photos are. First of all, they create the lasting memories for people. But
Hmm.
it's not just about that, because your photos and the booth itself, you have one that's virtual. We're going to be talking about that here shortly. But then also you have one where people can become interactive and engaging with it as well. And it comes with little props and things like that. But then when I think about the level of laughter and smiling and joy that I've witnessed when people actually interact, like myself, I've done, interact with your booths. Um, when we talk about branding and event planning, I believe that they're synonymous. They work one well with each other. And I think
Hmm.
when we're talking about ProSnap booth, it's what makes sense to be added to tons of events.
Any event.
So right. So any event. So let's talk about that.
Hmm.
Why would I want to add this to my Christmas event, my corporate event, to my um, um, uh, wedding? Talk to me. Why?
Hmm.
How does that help my brand and helping people to have a memorable experience when it comes to any event that I have?
That's a very great question. So the first thing that comes to mind is no one wants a boring event, right?
X.
If you are responsible for putting an event together, your main objective is to make sure that this event is not boring and that everyone is going to have a great time and
Yeah.
they're going to be able to remember this event.
Mm-hmm.
So the photo booth is very good at creating an experience that people will remember
Mm-hmm.
around photos. People can always take their own pictures, but those pictures will probably stay on their phone.
Yes.
They'll never get shared.
Mm-hmm.
You'll probably never see them as the event host.
Yeah.
And the photo booth solves that by having a central location where the
Hmm.
people can gather,
Yeah.
right? So um, here in Atlanta, there's this social club called the Gathering Spot, and I was a
Yes.
member there for a while. And I liken my photo booth to a mini gathering spot, right?
Oh.
It's somewhere that you can designate in the venue, wherever you're at, to be the gathering spot. It's the
Mm.
place where everyone's going to come and start to congregate, and
Yeah.
they're going to have a remarkable, memorable experience that
Hmm.
they can take with them, that they're going to remember the laughs, the fun times, the props that they did, the pictures that
Hmm.
they took, and all those photos get shared instantly. So they're going to share them directly to their phones via text message or email,
Hmm.
and we also save those. So, one of the features of the booth is it saves all of those pictures
Yeah.
so that I can deliver that to the host
Hmm.
as a like a guest book, or like it shows all the people that were there
Hmm.
in a gallery. So it's a gallery that, has all the photos, all the videos, all the fun times. And people can even share these to their social media.
Yep.
Everyone has at least an Instagram or a Facebook. So this
Hmm.
creates content. So the
Hmm.
first thing is a fun experience. The second thing is content creation. So
Yeah.
a lot of people like using the photo booth as a way to create content. If you're
Hmm.
a business owner, or a content creator, someone that's looking for a way to collect user generated content, now
Hmm.
you have a way to do that easily, and hands free. You don't No one has to stand there and take the pictures. You don't have to hire a
Right.
photographer. You don't have to have someone else. Literally, you can have a photo booth there that's generating content for you for the entire event. Now you can take these pieces of content to show off your event, to
I love
remarket
that.
it. If you're having another one, you can say, hey, look at all the fun things that they did at the last event.
The last event.
Right.
Yeah.
So this showcases, how fun your event is. So user generated content is big nowadays. And it takes the pressure off of you for having to come up with the content or trying to create it on your own. Just let the
Hmm.
users create it. There a lot of
Absolutely.
people love taking pictures, so this is a great way. And the last thing I'll say, which is kind of a hidden talent of the photo booth that people don't think
Hmm.
about,
Hmm.
is data collection. So the photo booth is a hidden gem when it comes to data collection. People are going to take these pictures and they have to send it to themselves somehow. They have to receive the
Hmm.
content. They have to get it via text message or email, one of the two. And you can choose. You can say, I want it to be text message, I want it to be emails. However you choose is the form of data that we're going to be collecting. So
Hmm.
if you're a business and you're having a pop up, or you're trying to promote yourself, and you're looking for a way to connect with your audience even a
Yeah.
little bit deeper,
Hmm.
you can give them that experience. You can collect that user generated content, and you have a way to get back in touch with them
Hmm.
after the event. So
I love that.
that's 3 points that you're just the photo booth does so much. So I can't harp on it enough. And my clients, the ones that use me time and time again, they already know this. That's why
Right.
I get
Right.
a lot of repeat business, because they know the benefits of having a photo booth there,
Hmm.
especially the benefits of working with someone like me. I've been doing
Hmm.
this for a while, very skilled, very
Hmm.
talented.
Hmm.
My quality is amazing, so I stand
Yes,
out
it
because
is, folks. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
stand out because of that. I'm easy to work with,
Yep.
um, and just I make sure I put my clients first.
Hmm.
One of my core values is service, so
Hmm.
I always make sure that I give the best customer service that I possibly can. That's why I even reinvest into my business by having an assistant, by
Hmm.
having things in place so that whenever someone reaches out to me, we get back to them,
Yeah.
in a quick manner. We make sure that we're
Hmm.
answering our emails. We're making sure that we're responding to phone calls and text messages. All of that is part of service, and I make sure I stand out in that way to provide the best quality for my customers.
That is amazing. And I love that. I love how you put your customer first, because number one, a returning client is always going to do a couple of things. Number one, return. Number two,
Mhm.
refer. Those are the
Absolutely.
things that I really, really love about what you do. And there are so many different types of events that are out there. So my goodness, what are you going to do when you have to be at more than one place at one time? What do you do?
Well, there's two solutions to that, and the second one is the new service that I was telling you about.
Oh,
But the first thing I can do is to train and hire.
yeah,
So part of any good service-based business, you have to have a good hiring and training system.
yeah.
Bringing more people on board,
Mm-hmm.
basically duplicating myself. I've
Mm,
already pretty much perfected the craft of setting up a photo booth event.
yeah,
I can do it with my eyes closed. I know step one, step two, step three. I know everything to do. I know how to troubleshoot in any situation.
yeah.
I make sure that my photo booths have 100% uptime as much as possible. We're never down because of technical issues.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I can train. I can put that all into my training
Yeah.
and train people. It's a little bit difficult when you're trying to build a team and you're trying to find good people and you have churn and you have people that have other priorities and responsibilities and things going
Mm-hmm.
on. So
Mm-hmm.
I always want to make sure that all of my events are staffed, and it's much easier to do that by just going to do the events by myself. But I
Right.
still do have people that I can trust to help me at certain events. The second way is if you don't even need an attendant there. So what I like to do is I like to do drop off booths. So where I can set up a photo booth and actually drop it off at an event and then just let them run the event themselves.
I
And then
love
I can
it.
come back later and pick up the booth. So I can drop off the booth or
Mm-hmm.
pick it up. But we can take that even a step further. We can
Uh-oh.
yeah, we can take that
Okay.
one
I'm
step
leaning
further.
in.
How about a photo booth that doesn't even require me to set up any equipment?
Talk to me.
So now we have a cloud-based virtual photo booth. So I'm able to create a photo booth that I can deploy and distribute to my clients
Mm.
via a website link or a QR code that they can scan very easily. And now they can put this out to their whole guest list. They can put it out to everyone that's at the event. And all
Wow.
they would have to do is use it from their phone. So they would, open the photo booth. It would look just like how it would look if it was an in-person photo booth, but they're just doing it from their phone. The same customized design that we do for you. We always handle the graphic design for you. So you're getting
Mm-hmm.
customized designs.
Mm-hmm.
You're still getting the data collection. You're still getting the user generated
Mm-hmm.
content, but this is all happening in real time at your event from people just scanning this code or using the
Wow.
link that you sent to them. So now there's no lines. There's no lines that people have to wait in. You don't have to, ask where the photo booth is. The photo booth is literally on your phone now. And because it doesn't require a booth attendant and
Yeah.
it's location independent,
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
not limited to my local vicinity anymore. I'm not limited
Wow.
to Atlanta. So I can expand into different cities, into different states, even overseas. And that is really the key to my next breakthrough in the business. So you heard it here first.
Wow.
We're in the launch phase of launching out our virtual booth. We've been testing it for a while, and
Mm-hmm.
we've had it already at several events.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I've done family reunions, I've done conferences, I've done birthday parties, I've done the gamut.
Mm.
But for now, I think I'm gonna focus on a specific market,
Yeah.
and that market is weddings. I can see
Yes.
I can see it at weddings being the cornerstone
Mm-hmm.
content generator for brides, for them to capture the angles that they wouldn't normally capture
I
from
love it.
the photographer or the
Mm-hmm.
videographer.
Mm-hmm.
They allow people to join in on the festivities, even
Mm-hmm.
those that couldn't make it to the
Yes.
wedding or to the
Yes.
everyone can join in, everyone can take a picture, everyone can leave their well wishes, because we also can record audio and video. And this is going to be, the next big hit for brides. I already see things happening in the industry, so
Yeah.
I always try to keep my pulse on the industry and
Yeah.
really try to be ahead of things. I always try to be
Mm-hmm.
ahead of things. When I don't see something happening, I want to jump in there first and try to
Yeah.
bring something. So this is going to be my foray into virtual photo booths and definitely going toward the wedding industry.
Amazing. Absolutely amazing. And see, as you're talking and my mouth is open, it's like I couldn't have even thought of that. I couldn't have even thought of that. I couldn't. So you are literally ahead of the game when it comes to all of this. And so, first of all, I do recall, see, I didn't know that that's what you were doing. We were at an event, Traffic Sales and Profit, TSP, and I think that you introduced it there.
Mm-hmm,
I think that's what it was. Okay, so that was what you were doing, and we were all kind of playing around with it with the different orange and yellows,
yeah,
and so you were testing it then.
yeah, I was
So,
testing.
so you've been in research and development. That was 2 years ago.
Yeah, so it took a while because I'm working with third-party software and I'm still
Yeah,
I'm in development phases. So because of that, I have to do more research and more testing
yeah.
to make sure that everything is going to be to my liking, and also
Mhm.
it's going to be a seamless experience for my customers. Like
Yeah,
that's my number one thing.
right.
The photo booth industry is mainly about you as a business owner
Mhm,
selecting the best software
mhm.
and the best hardware. So once you
Yeah,
have the best hardware and the best software that you can possibly get your hands on, then you can provide the best experience for your customers. So it takes a lot of trial and error, a lot of
mhm,
testing, a lot of figuring things out with the process. But
mhm.
once you figure that part out, then it's smooth sailing from there. So I've been off and on with the testing while I'm still managing my in-person business. So yes, I'm testing the virtual, but I still have photo booth events that I still have to show up for and to do,
Wow.
and events for my clients. But I'm working on a way where I can scale this, because the way for this to really work is at scale. I have to
Yeah,
be doing a lot of these on a weekly basis.
absolutely.
So I'm figuring out how to kind of automate a lot of things, how to
Mhm,
set things up
mhm,
on the back end to make it
mhm,
seamless for me and my assistant, to where it doesn't add a whole extra heavy burden on us, and we're
mhm.
able to manage all of these events with a system, with pipelines and things like that,
I
to make
love
sure
it.
that everyone gets the service that they are expecting to get from ProSnap Booth, which is top tier service, like
I
nothing but the best.
I listen. I am speechless because my mind is racing with all of the ideas. Like, how can Brownstone Worldwide bring you in? Just on the okay, how can we do this at our next? How can we? Yes, because we have the block part. And well, first of all, who else am I gonna call? But Pro Snap Booth.
Of
That's
course.
first. That's number one. But Cisco. So y'all, we call him Cisco. So Cisco, my God, today, the level of growth and expansion that you have been experiencing and making sure that you continue to do, and like you said, scale is phenomenal.
I
So
appreciate that. It's like I said in the beginning, it's a labor of love, and it's nothing but the grace of God
yeah.
that's just kept me on this path.
Hmm.
As well as I do, the path of an entrepreneur.
Yes.
And
Yes.
we met in one of the times where I was almost ready to give up on my business,
Yeah.
and um, I had to take a step back
Yeah.
and figure out what was really important for me.
Mm-hmm.
Where did I see myself going for the
Mm-hmm.
future?
Mm-hmm.
And my priorities. I had to set my priorities in place.
Yeah.
And I realized that I started this business because it was something that I wanted to do.
Yes.
So I put my heart into it. I built
Mm-hmm.
it from nothing. I built this business from
Mm-hmm.
absolutely a dream.
Mm.
And when I weighed all of my costs and I saw, you know, the good times and the bad times, I realized that I would rather do nothing else than build this
Yeah.
business. I'd rather do nothing
Wow.
else.
That is amazing. Gosh, I love to hear stories like this. Number one, because you have dropped so many gems. And I hope everybody, like I said before, that's reading, listening, watching, going to be checking out the replays, that you pick up what Cisco has been putting down today, because I have. in this short 30-35 minutes that we've had together. You have first of all sparked, right? Because I'm experiencing severe jet lag today, but now I'm ready to get going again, right?
I woke you
So
up.
like this was exactly what I needed, because if you guys don't know, I've known you now for a couple of years,
Mhm.
and I've watched you grow, and I've watched you not give up, and I've watched you share your developments and things that you have going on in the business. And then I look up and I'm not giving out any names, but I see you sharing some of the celebrities that, their events that you're doing and who you've been, connecting and doing business with. And I'm like, go ahead, go, you do you. So here's the question that I
Yes.
want you to answer for our people, our neighbors, is what would you say to those people in business
Mhm.
who love what they do, but they don't see how it can work for them? What would be your words of wisdom for them so that they don't give up?
I would say to that entrepreneur, number one, you have to have faith in a higher power.
Mm,
For me, I believe in God. I'm not afraid to say it. I'm a Christian.
yeah.
I believe in Jesus Christ. And the things that we go through as entrepreneurs
Mhm.
can weigh us down.
Mm,
It can take us to the brink of, just feeling like we have nothing left.
yeah.
And if you don't have roots, if you're not rooted
Yeah.
in a higher power to help us, to help you to get through, then you don't have that rock that to lean on. You don't have your sustenance where you can get strength from.
Mm-hmm.
I found myself in this past year or so
Mm-hmm.
doing a lot of mindset work, because a lot of
Mm-hmm.
the struggles that we go through
Yeah,
start in the mind,
they
right?
do.
A lot of the struggles that we go through start in the mind. You have to first believe.
Yeah.
If you love what you do, there's a market out there for you. There
Yes.
is a market out there for you. Um, I found my people. I found people that want to do business with me, and I couldn't have imagined the journey that I would have went on when I started this business 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
2016, I did my first event for free. I did my second event for free,
Mm-hmm.
and I didn't get paid until my third event.
Mm-hmm.
And for that event, I made $150.
Mm.
And that $150 means more to me than pretty much anything else that I've done since then,
Wow.
because it was the first time that I got paid to do something that I chose to do.
Yeah.
Something, yeah, something
Yeah.
that I decided to do on my own.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And as an entrepreneur, if you something that you love to do and you choose to do that, someone will pay you to do that. And you just
Mm.
continue to believe
Yes.
that another person will come and another person will come, and continue
Come
to
on.
put yourself out there. Continue to put yourself out there.
Yes.
Don't let any setback hold you back. And do a lot of mindset work too. If I can give any advice, I would say come up with some affirmations, some positive affirmations,
Yes.
because what we tend to do is when things aren't going our way, we do a lot of negative self-talk.
Yeah. Yep.
Negative self-talk. We talk ourselves down like, oh, this isn't going to work. Oh, I'm not good enough. Or
Mm-hmm.
that negative
Mm-hmm.
self-talk is going to only attract more
Yes.
negativity. Change that. Flip it on its head. Reverse it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Say, I am good at business. I can,
Yes.
I can do this.
Yes.
My next customer is right around the corner. Someone's going to pay me for my services. Continue to talk positive things and attract more positivity into your life. So that would be my advice for that entrepreneur.
I love that. Cisco, we could talk for hours because you have really put a lot out there for us to talk about. We've talked about branding. We've talked about your new events and the new software that you're bringing forth to your audience. We've talked about how you've learned how to scale and gotten out of your own way. This has been a lot, but it's been, I'm grateful for the time that you have taken to spend with us here in the Brownstone and with our neighbors, because you two are a neighbor. And it is appreciated. So if you all notice, I've put his website here for you all to grab. Check out prosnapbooth.com.
Right. This way. This
Yep.
way.
So yeah, it's down here.
Down there. Right, there
down,
you go.
down there. But listen, you can also check out Cisco or Francisco Dean at the Photobooth Man on IG and on Facebook. That's where you can find him, the Photobooth Man. You can't remember his name. Who's that Photobooth Man? That's him right there. You can find him there. Listen, I want to thank you for coming and spending your afternoon with us here at Brownstone's Best Business Review. I can't wait until we do this again, because I know that you're going to have some more amazing lessons and stories to tell us about how the business is going and how you're going along as well. Thank
Absolutely.
you again.
It's my pleasure. It's my pleasure. Thanks again for having me as part of the Brownstone family. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
All right, you guys, that's our time. I can't wait for you all to get your issue of Brownstone Living Magazine, where, of course, he is our feature in the People of the Neighborhood in our September issue. Go ahead and check out brownstoneworldwide.com, Cityscape Radio, and Brownstone Living Magazine to get caught up on everything where you can live the brownstone lifestyle. And if we don't have anything else, y'all, let's get out there and enjoy the rest of this beautiful day. We'll see you around.